The Great Hall of the Galactic Union was quiet. Too quiet. The massive round table in the center held leaders from 100 different worlds. Some had glowing skin, some had metal arms, and some floated without legs. Their languages were different. But today, they all shared the same question: where was Earth? The Union had sent out a Priority 1 summon, the highest emergency signal. Every advanced civilization had responded within minutes. Every major fleet had reported for duty. Every empire had shown its power. But Earth was silent. It had been over 200 years since Earth's last made contact. 2 centuries of no transmissions, no trade, no presence at meetings. First, people believed Earth had destroyed itself. Later, they thought maybe Earth had simply grown tired of the galaxy. Now, no one knew what to believe. Some didn't care. Others were deeply afraid. Supreme Commander Turl, a blue-skinned warrior from the planet Aneth, stood at the edge of the table. His voice was deep and sharp. Earth must answer. This is not a time for silence. The Varnak swarm is already at our borders. A tall insectoid queen from planet Thelkis clicked her mandibles. They think they are better than us. Always did. Let them stay in the shadows. A younger voice laughed from the corner. It was Kryn, a newly appointed diplomat from the Rune Empire. He was young, full of pride, and full of ignorance. Earth, they're probably still fighting over food and water down there. They abandoned. The stars? Why should we care? A few leaders chuckled. But others did not. One of them was General Ibra of the Sithrin. She had served during the last Earth contact almost 100 years ago. Her eyes were cold and quiet. She didn't speak. Not yet. The tension in the room grew heavier when the Union's Grand AI brought up a star map. Thousands of red dots flashed on the screen. The Varnak had spread faster than expected. They were a hive mind, emotionless, merciless. And endless whole star systems were already gone. They were moving straight toward the core worlds. They are absorbing everything, the AI stated. Metal, biomass, water, intelligence. Nothing remains after they pass. Panic started. To spread through the council, the Varnak didn't negotiate. It didn't stop. It didn't listen. And now, the galaxy's last line of defense, the United Fleet stood weak without. Earth, someone finally asked the question no one wanted to say out loud. What if Earth is the only one who can stop them?
Allies.
Turned to General Ibra. She didn't move for a few seconds. Then she stood and walked to the center of the room. Her voice was soft, but everyone leaned in to hear. I was there the last time Earth answered a call. We were losing the War of the Three Moons. Our ships were falling. Our allies were surrendering. We begged Earth to help. And for a long time we heard nothing. Then, one ship arrived. Kryn laughed again. One ship? Ibra ignored him. That one ship turned the tide of the war in 3 hours. The room went silent. It wasn't just a ship, she continued. It was something else. Sleek. Silent. Nothing like what we knew. Its weapons melted moons. Its shields bent space. And its crew, they didn't speak much. They didn't wear medals. They didn't ask for thanks. They just said, we came. Because you called? Nothing more? Then they left. A long silence followed. Kryn broke it. A nice bedtime story, General. But this is real life now. Earth is gone. And even if it's not, they won't come. Ibra stared at him, and for a moment, the room felt colder. You don't understand. Earth never left. It watches, waits, prepares, and if they choose not to answer this time, then maybe. Maybe they don't want to save us. The council grew nervous. Plans were made. Fleets were moved. Signals were sent again and again toward Earth, and again. Earth remained silent. In the following days, the Varnak broke through 2 major defense walls. The planet Balorian fell in 20 minutes. The screams of its people echoed through the network before. The Varnak signal replaced it with static. Billions lost, no survivors. Now fear had fully entered the hearts of the leaders. Balorian could fall, then no one was safe. The Union doubled their efforts to contact Earth. They sent everything: diplomatic envoys, old language codes, even cultural messages. Still, Earth gave no answer. On the 6th day after the summon, the Galactic Union held an emergency vote. The question: should Earth be removed from the Council permanently? The vote passed. As the Grand AI began deleting Earth's data from the mainframe, something strange happened. The screens flickered. Lights dimmed. And every ship, station, and satellite connected to the Union grid paused for exactly 7 seconds. 7 seconds. That's all it was. But in those 7 seconds, the most advanced systems in the galaxy went blind. Even the Varnacs stopped moving. When the systems came back online, a single word appeared on every screen, every ship, and every datapad. Observed. That was it. No voice. Just that one word. Now, the galaxy was not laughing. We're watching the stars and wondering, was it Earth? Some said it was a trick. Some believed it was just a glitch. But deep down, in the quiet corners of their minds, they knew the truth. Earth had heard the call, and now Earth was watching. But the question that haunted them most wasn't, is Earth coming? It was something far worse. What has Earth become? As night passed and new reports of Varnak attacks poured in, the galaxy waited in silence. The great powers gathered their fleets. The brave trained harder. The cowards fled to deep space shelters. But one thing had changed. No one was mocking Earth anymore. In the cold void of space, beyond the last known star chart, hidden behind dark matter fields and cloaking signatures, something moved. Something enormous, silent, alive. And its destination was the battlefield. Earth had remained quiet for 2 centuries. It had ignored trade, ignored war, ignored politics. But now it was moving. And no one, not even the Varnak, could imagine what was coming next. The council room was darker now. The lights had been lowered to save power across the station. Outside the wide glass windows, the stars seemed farther away than ever. After the word observed appeared on every screen in the galaxy, fear had replaced pride. Kryn, the young diplomat who once laughed at Earth, now sat quietly in a corner, his hands shaking slightly. No one teased anymore. No one joked. Every leader in the Galactic Union had seen that single word. No one could explain how it was sent, not even the Grand AI. And when the systems restarted, even the most advanced ships showed signs of temporary shutdowns. If something far more powerful had pressed pause on the galaxy, Commander Turl was one of the few still trying to act calm. He stood at the center of the command table and pointed to the latest Varnak invasion routes. 5 more planets had fallen in the last 2 days. The swarm was fast, endless, and merciless. There were no negotiations, no demands. Just destruction. This is no time to lose focus, Tyrell said. We must protect the inner colonies, with or without Earth. General Ibra watched him with steady eyes. You still don't understand, she said. You think this is a game of numbers, of ships and weapons? But if Earth truly saw that message, and if they are still alive, then we are no longer the ones in control. The council members exchanged glances. Some nodded slowly, others remained quiet. Then a strange sound echoed through the hall. It was laughter. Everyone turned. Kryn stood up. His face was pale, but his eyes were wild. This is madness, he shouted. One word shows up on our screens and suddenly Earth is a god. Oh, I don't believe it. If Earth was so strong, they would have come already? No one answered him. The silence around Kryn was colder than space. Then, without warning, the Grand AI spoke again. Its voice was no longer calm, alert. Unauthorized data burst detected in diplomatic sector. Source: Earth origin encryption. Level: unknown. The council rose to their feet. One by one, their personal screens lit up with strange symbols. The language looked ancient and advanced at the same time. A few scientists tried to decode it, but the AI interrupted again. Translation complete. Everyone waited, then the message appeared on the main screen. The galaxy is dying. You waited too long. We are coming. Prepare your skies. The words were cold. Not a threat, not a greeting, just a fact. Kryn took a step back. His voice shook now. This is impossible. Earth can't do this. He never finished his sentence. Outside the station, alarms began to ring. Dozens of ships, all cloaked and hidden, suddenly appeared near the edge of the system. They hadn't been detected by any known scanners. They weren't on maps. They simply appeared like ghosts. Each ship was massive. It's blacker than space, sharp edges, no windows, no heat signature. But each one carried a symbol of small white Earth. 7 stars above it, every ship was still, silent, watching. Turl turned to the Grand AI. Identify those ships. The AI hesitated, something it never did. Then it replied, identification failed. No known match. Technology level exceeds all Union standards. The room filled with quiet fear. And then, the first sound came through the communication system. It was not a voice, not words. It was a heartbeat, slow, strong, human. For several minutes, no one moved. The heartbeat continued, echoing through the room like a countdown. Finally, the sound stopped, and a new voice came through. Calm, cold, precise. We have arrived. No name, no location. No explanation, just 3 words. Commander Turl stepped forward. This is Commander Turl of the Galactic Union. Identify yourself. There was no answer. Then, every single Union warship around the system powered down. Not by attack. By override, the Earth fleet had taken control of the entire grid with a single, silent command. Ships floated powerless, weapons disabled. Shields down. The Earth fleet did nothing. They simply waited. The Grand AI tried to reboot systems, failed. Then another message appeared. We warned you. Stand down, General Ibra. Whispered to no one in particular. They're not just advanced, they've evolved. At that moment, another alert flashed across the council. The Varnock swarm had reached the outer moons of the planet Suridea. Last defensive line of Union ships stood there, 40 warships, thousands of soldiers, and the Varnock outnumbered them 20-1. The council members scrambled. Panic took over. Send everything we have. Call for reinforcements. Sacrifice. The moons save the core. But just as they began to argue, the Earth fleet moved. They didn't ask. They didn't explain. They opened a portal, something the galaxy had never seen before. Not a wormhole, not a jump gate, a space fold, a rip in reality, in the entire Earth. Fleet vanished into it. 4 minutes later, a feed came through from Sarathe. Union forces stood on the surface, weapons ready. They were losing. Then the sky changed. The Earth ships arrived in perfect silence. No sounds, no explosions, just erasure. Varnock vessels disappeared mid-flight. Swarm creatures collapsed, burned from the inside out. Not a single Earth ship was touched. The battle ended in 123 seconds. Sarah, they was saved. And Earth never responded to any hails. The feed ended. The council room stood in silence. Once again, but it was not the same silence as before. This was fear. True fear. Because now they had seen what Earth could do, and the question burned in every leader's mind. If Earth had this power all along, why did they wait? And what else were they hiding? As Kryn sat down, his hand still shaking, he whispered. To himself, they didn't just prepare for war. It became something else. Grand AI came back online and displayed one final message. It was not from Earth. It was from the VARNO. For the first time in history, the hive mind had sent a single word to the galaxy, a word that had never been used before by the Varnock, a word they didn't even have until now. Flee. The galaxy was stunned. For the first time, the Varnock hive mind showed fear. A simple word, flee, sent ripples through every star system. No one had ever heard the Varnock admit weakness. The hive was endless, merciless, unstoppable. Now Union fleets scrambled to understand what had happened. The Earth fleet had arrived, destroyed the Varnak attack on Sarathay, and then vanished again without a single word. The silence from Earth was deafening. No communication, no negotiations, no explanation. Commander Turrell stared at the galactic map, watching the red dot signs of the Varnak presence. Shrinking. The swarm was retreating. Panic was replacing their aggression. Still, the galaxy didn't know what to do next. Was Earth coming back? Or had they come to finish the war alone? Kryn sat in a dark corner, eyes wide with fear and wonder. His earlier arrogance had faded, replaced by the weight of a terrifying question. What if Earth is not like us anymore? He whispered. What if they are beyond our understanding? At the same time, on a hidden moon near the edge of known space, an ancient satellite blinked to life. It had been silent for centuries, a relic from Earth's last known contact with the galaxy. But now, it was sending a message wrapped in layers of encryption, impossible for most to decode. Scientists from many worlds gathered in secret to try to break it down. As the message slowly revealed itself, a chilling truth emerged. Earth had never left the galaxy. They had not vanished. They had hidden, and during their silence, they were changing. The message told a story of survival, evolution, and preparation. Earth had faced threats that no other world had seen. While the galaxy fought wars and made peace, Earth had been building something greater, a force so powerful it could end any war before it started. But there was a warning inside. The message. A warning that this power was not a gift. It was a curse. The evolution Earth chose came with a price that made Earth no longer fully human, no longer fully alien. As the Union scientists decrypted more, the galaxy began to understand. Why Earth had ignored every summon was not out of arrogance or weakness. It was out of necessity. Earth was preparing for a war far beyond what anyone could imagine. Meanwhile, deep in the dark reaches of space, the Varnak hive was in chaos. Their queen was silent. The swarm was confused. For the first time in their history, they had lost ground. They did not understand why. A small scout drone from the hive was sent to investigate the strange new threat the Earth fleet. What it discovered was beyond comprehension. The technology was unlike anything. In the galaxy, it bent space, rewrote physics, and moved with perfect precision. When the drone returned, it brought only one message: impossible. Back in the Union Council, the leaders debated their next move. Some wanted to send envoys to Earth. Others wanted to prepare for the worst. But no one knew how to reach Earth. No one even knew if Earth wanted to be found. General Ibra stood and spoke quietly. We must be ready. Earth is no longer a distant memory. It is here. It is watching. It's a question on everyone's mind. It was simple, yet terrifying. What would Earth do next? Days passed in silence. The galaxy waited. Fleets repaired. People hoped. And then, without warning, the hidden satellite sent another message. This time, it was a location. A star system far from the Union's core, a place called Sol. It was Earth's way of saying, come if you dare. The Union sent a small fleet to the coordinates. They were nervous, unsure what awaited them. Was it a trap? A gift? Or the beginning of something new? As the fleet entered the Sol system, they found it changed. It's no longer a simple solar system with one small blue planet. It was a fortress. Massive structures floated in orbit. Ships, more numerous and larger than any fleet in the Union, patrolled the space. The fleet commander sent a message. We come in peace. We seek dialogue. The reply came almost immediately, in a voice calm and unreadable. Peace is fragile. We will speak, but not for long. And then the gates opened. The galaxy held its breath. The long silence from Earth was over, but no one knew if it was a greeting, or a warning. The Union fleet moved cautiously through the gates that opened wide around the Sol system. The stars outside seemed colder here, as if even the light itself feared this place. Each ship held its breath, waiting for a sign, a signal, or a threat. Commander. Lysa, leading the fleet, was a seasoned officer with years of experience in the galaxy's most dangerous zones. She stared at the view screen as huge structures came into view, vast, dark, and shining with a strange blue light. These were no ordinary space stations. They were war machines, fortress worlds built in orbit. Her cum buzzed. "Commander, sensors. Show no life signs from Earth's surface. But the defenses are active. Shields stronger than anything recorded. Weapons online." The fleet tightened its formation. Every pilot knew that if Earth wanted a war, they would be ready. The silence from the planet was deafening. No calls for help, no requests. Only silence. Suddenly, the Earth fleet appeared. Thousands of ships, larger than anything the Union had ever seen, emerged from hidden hangars in the fortress stations. Their shapes were strange, angular, and silent. They moved without sound. Without hesitation, like shadows in space, Commander Lysa ordered her fleet to hold position. Then, a message came through, voice calm and commanding. "You are guests in our system. State your purpose." Lysa replied, steady but respectful. "We come to understand, to find a way to stop the Varnak together." The response was clear. "The Varnak are beneath our concern. We have plans beyond your understanding. Stay where?" You are the fleet commander swallowed hard. She knew this was a warning. Days passed with no direct attack, but Earth's fleet patrolled every corner. Union ships felt like children under a watchful eye. Tensions grew. Some feared Earth would destroy them all for their impatience. Then a sudden explosion rocked one of the outer stations. Alarms blared. The Varnak had found a way into the system again. Their swarm pushed through a hidden route no one had seen. Earth's fleet responded instantly. They struck with brutal speed, wiping out the Varnak attackers in minutes. The precision was terrifying. Every move was calculated, every shot lethal. Union leaders watched the battle live on screens. They realized Earth's forces were not just powerful, they were perfect. No wasted energy, no mistakes. Like a single mind controlling many bodies, after the battle, a new message arrived. This time, it was a challenge. If you want to survive, join us. Fight with us. Or be swept away. The Union was torn. Some wanted to join, hoping for protection. Others wanted to resist, fearing loss of freedom. The galaxy held its breath. Meanwhile, inside Earth's hidden bases, changes were happening. Humans were no longer just humans. They were evolving faster. Stronger, smarter. They spoke less, but understood more. The silence was their power. The story of Earth was no longer just about a planet, but it was about a force beyond imagination, and the galaxy had no choice but to wait and see what Earth would do next. The galaxy was watching. Every world, every fleet, every leader waited for Earth's next move. The message was clear: join us, fight with us, or be swept away. It was not a threat, it was a challenge. Commander Lysa stood before her officers aboard the Union flagship. Her hands clenched the railing as she looked out at the vast Earth fleet surrounding them like an invisible cage. "We have two choices," she said quietly. "Accept Earth's terms or resist and face extinction." Whispers filled the room. Many feared that Earth was no longer the ally they once knew. Earth's silence was no longer peaceful, it was a warning. Meanwhile, on Earth itself, the leaders watched the galaxy's response from deep inside their hidden command centers. They were not eager to fight, but they would if they had to. A council of the oldest humans, evolved far beyond their ancestors, met in a chamber carved from living crystal. Their eyes shone with a strange light, and their voices were calm but firm. "We did not come for conquest," said the eldest. "We came to protect. But if they choose war, they will face the consequences." Back in the Union, the first envoys arrived aboard Earth's massive stations. They were greeted with cold silence. No celebrations. No diplomacy. Suddenly, the ground shook. The Varnak swarm had launched a massive counterattack, striking the outer defenses of the Sol system. Earth's fleet responded with terrifying speed. The battle was unlike any the galaxy had seen. No mercy. No hesitation. The Varnock forces were destroyed in minutes. After the battle, Earth sent a single broadcast to every ship and station. We fight only to protect our home. Join us or stand aside. A wave of shock spread through the galaxy. This was not a plea. It was a command. Some planets agreed to join Earth, hoping to survive the coming storm. Others prepared for rebellion, unwilling to bow to a power they barely understood. Meanwhile, deep in the shadows, a small group of Union scientists uncovered a secret. Earth's evolution was fueled by an ancient technology, one that could change the very fabric of life. They warned the leaders. If Earth uses this power fully, nothing will survive. The galaxy was at a crossroads. The Silent Guardian had become a force that could save or destroy everything, and the question remained, what would Earth choose? The Sol system was no longer just a home. It was a fortress unlike any other. Massive warships floated silently around the planet, their shapes dark and sharp like blades waiting to strike. The Union fleet that had once dared to enter now moved, like cautious shadows beneath Earth's watchful eye. Commander Lysa stood on the bridge of her flagship, her face tense. Sensors show unusual activity on the planet's surface. Some signals, human but different, enhanced. Her second-in-command nodded grimly. We are not dealing with the humans we once knew. They have changed. Across the galaxy, news spread like wildfire. Earth was no longer a distant memory or a silent observer. It was active, powerful, dangerous. Scientists and strategists tried to understand what had happened. How had Earth evolved so quickly? What ancient technology powered their transformation? Inside Earth's command centers, the Council of Elders met again. Their eyes glowed softly in the dim light. The galaxy fears us, one said, but their fear is their weakness. Another added, we must be ready for what comes next. Well, the Varnock are not finished, and neither are we. On the surface of Earth, massive cities gleamed with new energy. Humans walked with strength and speed no one had ever seen. Their minds connected silently, sharing thoughts without words. A young Earth warrior stood on a hill overlooking the stars. She raised her hand, and a fleet of ships responded instantly. They moved like extensions of her will. Her name was Mara. She was one of the first to undergo the new evolution. She was strong, fast, and fearless. Suddenly an alarm blared. The Varnock swarm had broken through the outer defenses again. Thousands of their ships poured into the system like a dark tide. Mara's fleet launched immediately. The battle was fierce and brutal. But this time, Earth did not just defend. It attacked with precision and power no one could match. The Varnock ships were destroyed one after another, their swarms shrinking with every strike. As the battle raged, Mara's mind reached out. She connected with other evolved humans. Together, they controlled the fleet like one living being. The galaxy watched in awe and terror. After the battle, Earth sent a new message. This is our home. We will defend it at all costs. The galaxy can join us or be destroyed. Union leaders were divided. Some saw Earth as a savior. Others saw a new threat. Kryn, now silent for days, finally spoke. Earth is no longer human. They have become something else, something we don't understand. General Ibra nodded. We must prepare. The next war will not be like any we have fought before. As the galaxy braced for what was coming, one thing was certain. Earth had changed the rules. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The galaxy's attention was fixed on the Sol system. Earth's warning echoed across space. Join us or be destroyed. No one dared ignore it. The Union's fleets gathered. The once divided worlds now faced a difficult choice. Commander Lysis stood. On the bridge, her heart heavy. The fleet was ready, but the weight of what was coming pressed down on her. Earth's power was clear. Its evolved warriors were unlike anything she had ever seen. Then the unexpected happened. Earth's fleet opened a communication channel, not with demands or threats, but with an invitation. Witness the battle. Learn our strength. Understand our purpose. Every world with a fleet was given access to a live feed of the final battle between Earth and the Varnock swarm. The feed showed the Varnock approaching a key Union world, one vital to the galaxy's future. The planet was surrounded by Varnock ships, ready to crush it. The Union defenders fought bravely, but they were outnumbered, outgunned, and losing ground. Suddenly, from the shadows of space, the Earth fleet arrived. Their ships moved like one, silent and deadly. The air filled with strange energy as their weapons fired. Not with explosions, but with waves that shattered the Varnock vessels from within. The battle was brutal and fast. In just over 2 minutes, the Varnock swarm was destroyed. The planet was saved. The galaxy watched, amazed and fearful. No one had ever seen such power then. Earth's voice spoke again on the feed. This is our way. We protect what is ours. We fight for our future. Join us, or be swept aside. The message was clear, and the choice was given. Across the stars, worlds debated. Some sent fleets to join Earth's cause, seeking protection and strength. Prepared for resistance, unwilling to surrender their freedom. Kryn, once a young diplomat full of doubt, now stood with new purpose. This is not just a war, it is a new era, General Ibra agreed. Earth has changed the galaxy forever. Must decide where we stand. Meanwhile, on Earth, the Evolved Council watched the galaxy's reaction. Their eyes gleamed with quiet satisfaction. We have shown our power, the eldest said. Now, the next chapter begins.
But...
Deep in the void, the Varnock Queen stirred. The swarm was weakened, but not defeated. It learned fear and rage. The war was far from over. The galaxy waited, and Earth prepared. The galaxy waited for Earth's answer. Some hoped Earth would take control and lead a new united force. Others feared that Earth would conquer everything. But Earth did neither. Just as quickly as the fleet had appeared, it began to vanish. Ship at a time, disappeared into deep space, silent, dark, and fast. No farewell, no flag planted. No grand speech. The galaxy was confused. Commander Lysa tried to make contact again, but there was no reply. She stood at the edge of her ships. Command deck and watched as the last Earth battleship vanished into a wormhole that no other species could enter. They're leaving, her officer asked, shocked, after everything. She nodded slowly. Yes, they didn't come to stay. They came because we called. Across Union space, every leader received one final encrypted message from Earth. It was simple, clear, and unforgettable. We did not return for power. We returned because survival demanded it. You must now decide how to live with strength or with fear. Do not summon us again unless you are truly ready. This was not rescue. It was a warning. After that, Earth was silent again. General Ibra, now older and wiser, stood before the Union Council. Her voice trembled not from fear, but from deep respect. We saw the edge of what Earth became. Not just machines and weapons, but something beyond our understanding, and we must ask ourselves, will we rise to meet them one day, or fall trying to compete? The Council had no answer. Meanwhile, the worlds once protected by Earth began to rebuild. Varnock activity dropped across the rim. Swarm, once fearless, was now hiding, retreating, and changing its patterns. Earth had left its mark. On a quiet planet far from the center, a small child looked up at the stars. He asked his mother, "Will Earth come back?" She smiled sadly. "Only if we're foolish enough to forget what they taught us." The legends grew, whispers of ships that could bend time, soldiers who never spoke, cities made of thought and light. Earth had become more than a planet. It had become a myth. But the truth remained. Earth still existed. It had simply closed its gates and disappeared into the void. And though no one could see them anymore, everyone knew they were still watching.